Hey guys, in the last Q&A, I asked, where do you discover new music? How do you listen? And where do you find out about new stuff that you didn't know about? How do you find out about new releases? All that kind of stuff. Before we get into the great responses that you guys have left, I'm going to tell you how I have discovered music in the past and how I do it today. One of the services I used to use to discover new music was Last.fm, and I really liked their radio feature. You could put in something like 65 Days of Static as your starting point. That would show you other post-rock and electronic artists, bands like Maybe She Will, and so many others. And that was a great way for me to kind of build up my library of bands in similar styles to stuff that I already knew. And a lot of indie bands that don't necessarily have any marketing behind them and things like that. Bands that you won't find advertising, bands that don't have a lot of label money behind them. I used to use that radio feature a lot when I was at work. Then it stopped being available in Canada. After that, I used a few different blogs that would focus on specific genres and post the albums. And I discovered a lot of new music by that, just going by ratings and things like that. And they'd often say like for fans of Mastodon or something like that. It was often a good indication of whether I would like it or not. Today, I'm still using a few of those blogs. I'm only listening to a few different styles of music for the most part, so I'm on a couple different label mailing lists. So if Caspian is on tour, I kind of look at who's going on tour with them. They're probably similar. Those bands like each other. They're probably good people and good musicians. On YouTube, there's a channel called New Retro Wave, and they have a ton of synthwave, retro wave, that kind of stuff. And I love that style of music. It's not for everyone, but I like it. And they're posting videos from different artists, and it's a constant source of good new music. I'm sure that there are channels just like that on YouTube for every genre, so that's a great way of discovering music. And something I've been trying more recently is the recommendations on Apple Music or iTunes. Just looking at the related artists feature or the playlists that they have recommended. Sometimes there's some pretty good stuff there. So going by the comments you guys left, it looks like a lot of you are using YouTube and Google Play and services like this, and none of you are using the radio. No one's using magazines. And a few of you mentioned personal recommendations from podcasters and things like that. I'm going to read a few of these that I found interesting that have good tips. Dave Keel says, in the past, I would download entire albums in crappy formats just for the sake of it. Now I go on YouTube and listen to the streams, and if I like them, I'll usually buy them. I don't feel comfortable downloading music illegally anymore. I think artists have the right to earn money with their music, and everyone should pay and not steal. Yes. One of the reasons that I do like Apple Music is that it's a fair price, and I know some of that goes to the artists. I think it's a little better than streaming services like Spotify. And I don't think YouTube pays very well either. But yeah, for the top 5 or 10 artists that I listen to the most, I want them to succeed. I want them to keep making music. I really appreciate the music that they've done in the past. So I'm listening to a few hours of music most days. And even though I'm not spending $60 on CDs every month, I know that some of my listening goes towards paying these artists. Gene of Mark says, I really like SoundCloud for new music. I can generally move through the network of artists and songs and like and comment on any tracks that catch my attention. This is great because it allows me to actually connect with the artist a bit, and I can even send them private messages, which I often do. Their profile pages usually provide a link to Bandcamp or Louder pages, which is actually where I purchase most of my music. So I tend to discover other albums they have and related albums while I'm there. I only buy from bigger distributors like iTunes and Google Play if it's not on Bandcamp or Louder. Podcasts are often a great way to discover new music within a particular genre. I forgot to mention this earlier. Where I actually buy music, if I'm buying single albums, will be from Bandcamp. That's my favorite place. You can stream there. You can. It's pretty good for discovery as well. But they're one of the few places actually offers lossless downloading. And if you're actually paying the $10 for the album or whatever it costs, it's really nice to have it in full quality. Jacob says, if Reaper Blog were to mention I Love album album here, I would probably go listen to a track from it. Quick recommendation is the Doom soundtrack. The Doom video game soundtrack by Mick Gordon is phenomenal. It's very, very heavy. Technically, very interesting. The stuff that he put into that recording is very, very cool. Works perfectly with the game, and it's a great sounding album. Stephen Morris says, I used to love going to music rental shops in Japan just to see what was featured, or just randomly pull CDs from the shelf to see what came up. I found one of my favorite bands that way. Matspa says, rate your music lists and charts. Also, Angry Metal Guy blog is a good source for me. Rate Your Music is, it's like a user contributed album review service. Seems pretty cool. There'll be a link in the description. Age Music says, I used to frequent different subreddits, forums, and blogs. Now it's more like just finding a band I like on YouTube and checking out the related videos and so on. Joseph Scalone says, I find out about new music here on YouTube and have found out about some great new bands from listening to Live 365, Metal Shop, and Epic Rock Radio. Jameson Moore says, Google Music. I tried using the beta and it replaced Last.fm for me. Last was great for music discovery, but their changes a couple years ago made it harder to use, so I canceled and jumped shipped to Google. Streaming is just so much easier than managing a library. Tamborilla says, tutorials, interviews from artists in a specific genre, exploring labels from artists I like, video game soundtracks, gaming video edits, streaming channels, podcasts, radios. In fact, I've never paid for music on the internet, but I've easily spent serious money on tickets and live shows. Aaron Burns says, for new music, random clicks on YouTube Red or Pandora. YouTube Red is an interesting thing. I was ready to subscribe to YouTube Red. I love the idea of it. No ads, the streaming music service, offline watching of videos, which would be great when you're traveling, to just set up a playlist and then download them to your phone or whatever, and you can just watch them offline. Great for airplanes, great for long trips on public transit, but it's not available in Canada. And I know why it's not, but I still want to complain about it. So I was ready to pay for it last night, only to discover that it's not available in Canada, and it just kind of ruined my night in a way. The ads on YouTube are so oppressive. They interrupt you so bad. YouTube Red is a great thing if it's available in your country. I'm switching to that as soon as it's available in Canada. For now, I don't blame you for using AdBlock. I use it myself, but I can't wait to actually pay for YouTube Red. I know that the ad rates are so much better for the creators when you watch through YouTube Red, and that will feel good. A lot like the switching to Apple Music, that sort of thing. I know that when I'm watching a video, the creators are going to get some income from that, and I don't need to watch ads. So, win for everyone. So that's it. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Support the Reaper blog with Patreon, and visit reaperblog.net for a lot more tutorials.